As the sounds in the night, almost imperceptible type of light, a whisper in a whistle, a glimmer, a sort of a type. Then before your mind can decide whether it's fight or flight, there's a star in the brainstem, cutting off from the right. It's like everything went dark in a moment of a spark, and then it's a katana piercing your chest to your heart, and the bones and the cartilage is tearing apart from skin. And if it was drama you sought, then now it's from within. The shadow, it's been brought to an end. This is Stealth Villain.
Hey guys, welcome to the lab. Another exciting episode of Sundaze with the Clink Room. Today, joined by my good friend Aaron. Aaron, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good.
Glad to be on.
We had to pull a little bit of an audible. The original guest. Hopefully, we're able to get them on next week. But it is long weekend for y'all in America. So hopefully, everyone's having a safe and happy long weekend. Hopefully, everyone still has the same amount of digits on their hands after playing with some fireworks and stuff. But glad to have you back. We haven't had you on the show for, I would probably say, about 4 to 6 months.
Yeah,
we're
that's
definitely
about right.
due for a reappearance anyway. So we're glad to have you.
I'm glad to be here as always.
Right. So just so that you know, and the rest of the people watching, at the end of the show, we will be previewing the fresh Colorway drop of the week. It's very exciting. You haven't seen them. I've barely even seen them. I've seen them enough to put them on the slide, so we'll get to kind of break those down, and hopefully the creator of that pack will be able to come on the show next week. But
very nice.
It would help if I share my screen, right? So let's start off with what Clink did during the week. So Deadstock Drop week. This one was, to me, one of the better drops. I think out of the 8 hats, I have maybe 5 to 6 of them, either in my possession or on the way. So,
gotcha. I think the last 2 weeks have been really strong, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. Suns out, guns out. Jason V, Hard Candy, Sierra Gons, and Steve from COD Designs. The comeback, Clinkers, Seamus and Rusty. Shout out to Brandon and some more. Josh, Rolls, and Heather got together for that one. Anything stick out to you about these 3 hats or 4 hats?
Hard Candy for me was the pick in this group. Just, this was one that I didn't get, as I had been telling you before. I had to be a little choosier for a period of time because of my work status, and so Hard Candy was one that I didn't get in pre-order. And when I saw a picture of it in hand, I was like, oh man, that one's fantastic. I'm gonna have to get that. It's nice and thick embroidery, just a really nice standout. I got it in hand here, but just really stands out so nice, and the colors are so vibrant on that,
right.
on the logo. That's what I like about it the most. But just these characters are just great. It's a good one. Good green under too. Love that. But that was my favorite, of this week's Deadstock Drop. Although S'mores is moving up the charts for me, and that's something I'm going to have to probably take a look at pretty soon if it's still available my size, because it is a really cool hat.
For sure. Hard Candy is like one of those things too. It's like you either see them like a doctor's office. Sometimes you get them for free at the bottom of a grocery bag.
Grandma. This is grandma's candy right here.
Grandma's candy. Sometimes the leftovers from the trick-or-treating candy, like the last ones you eat, but still a good candy. Not
right.
It's just not heavily branded.
Right.
Got the little jelly in the middle.
Right.
But yeah, delicious.
It's that candy that nobody knows, what the company is or anything like that. I know exactly what you mean.
Exactly. Then we got the comeback. That one is super slick. I knew that was going to embroider really nice, and I'm pretty happy with how that one came out.
Yeah. That turned out great.
Yeah. I think the original too, it was like a little too, like, kind of almost gruesome with just like the witch burning on the stake. This one is
right,
like kind of empowering her and
yes,
kind of giving that power back. That's so cool. S'more, like a part 2 from the Harshmallow series. So, they went with like a deep, rich, dark brown and black.
Yeah,
so cool.
It looks great.
Suns Out Guns Out is good. I almost just feel though the white hurts it with the yellow. It's almost washes it out a little bit.
That was definitely a decider for me. Was the colorway in that sense.
Yeah, I do like the colorway. It reminds me of like a Miami Dolphins almost,
Yeah.
but I almost wish they just went all teal. That way you can really like the
right. You
really
get a
like the
really good
yellow.
contrast. Yeah.
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 It's still a cool logo. That's definitely
hmm
one that would be cool to look at as a recolor.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we got Shadows and Spirits, Spooky Season, Mixtape, and then Ice Cream Truck. Anything here kind of stick out to you?
So spooky season, I was kind of, I was a little leery of it. I wasn't sure if it was something that was really my style, but seeing it, and seeing it in hand, as always, makes a big difference. And I think that I think it turned out really well. But the one that really grabbed me that I had to like take a second look at and end up ordering was Ice Cream Truck. I thought that really turned out really well. It's really well constructed as far as the logo is concerned. I've got that here too. I know that there's a video game that it reminds a lot of people of. I can't remember what the name of it is, but
Twisted Metal.
But yeah, there we go. But yeah, I thought that turned out really well too. I was really, really happy with the way that looks. Contrast there is really good between the undervisor and the brim. But it's a good hat. I ended up really, like jumping on this when it came up for Deadstock. So it was definitely a need.
Yeah, for sure. Shadows and Spirits is a cool one, kind of emulating like a yin and yang. Spooky Season, Raphael always does birds right. Mixtape is cool too. You got the tape with the actual tape ready almost. Yeah. He's churning it with the microphone, and the ice cream truck reminding everyone of the Twisted Metal. Not a game I really played a lot as a kid. But
I didn't play it either.
Definitely remember being around it. But in terms of pickups, so I do have Shadows and Spirits and S'more on the way.
Oh, okay.
I just paid for the duties yesterday. Shout out to the Queen and the government for that. $47 for 2 hats is criminal. But anyway, the ones that have arrived and are here, funny enough too. So Clink declared hard candy as one of the pieces. And for this box of duties, I had to pay an extra amount of money because they took it literal. They actually thought it was candy.
Thought it was hard candy.
So they taxed me on the hat portion and then extra for the food portion. So anyway, paid a little bit extra. I don't regret it. This hat.
Yeah. It's great.
Just that red foil, like they nailed the metallics with the red foil and stuff. The color's cool. I can never get bored of a green ender. I know some people are.
Never.
Yeah. This is just an elite hat. This could even come
back
all black if they really wanted to, but this is a special hat to me. Then of course when Seamus and his brother-in-law team up, Brandon.
Right.
Look at the
that's good stuff.
Embroidery details on the fire, the person, whatever. And Seamus is a master.
I love how the accents are so understated, but in the right light, they're just bam, they're there. Some of the accent coloring on the clothing and the hat and the eyes just look, so cool.
Yeah, and then you got the fire, and then the background fire is flat. The front fire is like super raised.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Really cool. Gray bottom, and then Raphael here. He just has this knack to capture nature so cool in a circle. So this is an elite.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Fall/Halloween hat. I just had to have it.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Kind of like rust under. So I think super strong. They did a lot of these pre-orders during like Halloween time, and we're not really near Halloween, but you blink a couple more times and we get to wear these. But hard candy you can wear it year round. Hard candy, and this one you can wear it year round, no problem. This one I'm gonna opt to at least hold it till September.
Sure, right.
But,
I can see Ice Cream Truck being a year round too. These ones you're talking about, Oh, but you're talking about those kind of fall themed ones. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
you can wear more than that. Got it.
Yeah, but all right, moving forward. We got the last call. So these next 6 hats that we'll be covering. Other pre-order ends tonight at midnight, so you guys have advance notice now to get them in at the reduced cost before they get sent out to production. So first we got Meltdown. Win Studio teamed up with Edward C. Porcelain by Win, and then Soar by Milos. What are your thoughts on this?
I think that porcelain is a really neat concept, and we've seen this before. I want to say we've seen a similar style, like bull, wasn't it bull in a china shop or something like that?
Yeah.
It was a while back, but I thought this, that white with that blue, just translated really well. And I think here again, it shows up and it conveys. What comes to mind is exactly what I think what was intended. Is actual China with a special design. I think it really comes through nice. I think that looks good. Meltdown is it's a fun hat, but I'm not a big teal person, so I find I've got more teal in my collection than I ever intended, and so so the color sets me back just a little bit, but I think it's neat the way they executed the melting ice cream into the skull shape. I think that was incorporated really well, where it's not like overdone as a skull, but it's clear what it is. But I think it's a neat concept. And then Soar, I think, is from a this time of year, 4th of July for Americans, I think that's a top-notch hat. I think it's probably, I would assume, probably moved a pretty decent amount of units just in anticipation of, hey, this will be my 4th of July hat next year.
Yeah. All pretty cool designs. Meltdown's colorway is nice. Reminds me of that LeBron 9 Miami shoe. Porcelain, he nailed, I think, the execution. It just looks like something that's lifted right off a fine china piece. And Source is real cool. I kind of wish he was either gripping like maybe a flag pole, and then he wasn't like crumpling the flag a little bit.
But, oh, sure, I gotcha. Yeah,
still a good piece nonetheless. But all right, moving forward, we got Sunset Celebration by Creaturezoid, Scorpio by Rory K and Ernesto, and then Parakeets by Raphael. So another bird in a circle.
Right.
What are your thoughts there?
I thought that the Creaturezoid, and Soundwave Threads one came out super nice. I think it's vibrant for it being on a black hat. That's a vibrant logo. That I mean, it really is strong and conveys a really great image. I think it's gonna turn out looking pretty great. On the embroidery. So
that might be navy.
Is that navy? Okay, so
but.
Gotcha. But I think it's really nice. And that gold outline, surprisingly, is what I think helps just set it off. I think that, it really brightens it up and gives it that good, bright focal point. Scorpio, I think, is pretty neat from the combination of the scorpion in the, what do you call that?
The Phoenix.
The Phoenix, thank you. Yes, that's what I was struggling with. But I think that's a pretty neat double image, the way they work that out. And I've been back and forth on how it looked previous, because the final drawing changed a little bit from the original. And I've been back and forth about which one looks better, which one has the scorpion better realized. And sometimes I can't decide, but I keep coming back to this, thinking that I think the claws look pretty good, and give you the really good image of the scorpion. And then with Raphael's with Parakeet, he's got a series of hats like this that just always look good. The design has good clarity. It's great colors, and I think it's going to translate well, as it typically does. When we see the finished product.
Yeah, definitely. That Parakeets too. Colorway is like a remix of this Meltdown one almost.
Oh, okay.
To its D, right? But all that Meltdown's of navy, but if you were to switch out for black, it's almost like a inversion, because it's got that teal under.
Yeah.
Black and pink. Scorpio is a cool looking hat. I don't really understand the story of like why a scorpion is mixed with a phoenix, but either way, it looks cool.
Sure.
Where sometimes if you don't understand the hat, but it looks good, you're a little bit more.
You can get past it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And Sunset Celebration, that one's a real cool one. I think the original had some like birds or like some seagulls in the back, which I'm kind of glad that they just got rid of.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
unnecessary fluff. But yeah,
I think making the rays the focal point makes sense, and there doesn't have to be anything else in the background to convey to us that there's an ocean setting.
right, right.
This is perfect the way it is.
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, it just gives the spotlight more on
Hmm.
to the ray, because like
Hmm.
one of them now, though the small one in the back looks like a ray, and it's a ray, but
Hmm.
the other
Right.
seagulls, you weren't sure if they're seagulls
Sure.
or if they were
Right.
rays. So
Right.
I do like that aesthetic change.
Hmm.
All in all, a good week, I would say. Can't wait to see how these embroider in hand.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
moving forward,
Yeah, because I really like real quick. I just really
okay.
like the gradient, between the
Yeah,
sun on the water. I think that's a really really neat touch, and I think that's gonna really look good, in
yeah,
the
that
final
reflection.
embroidery. Hmm.
Yeah, that's good. But all right. So moving forward, we have the Monday morning crits. So you guys are getting an early preview on the 20 designs that will hit crits tomorrow. Anything that you see here, make sure you guys vote really early Monday morning on Clink Room Story to help push the designs you want to get through and put to the pre-order shop on Friday. So first off, Ink Park, solid artist. We got No Chill. What are you thinking?
I'm maybe this makes it a bad opinion, but when it comes to John stuff, I love his work.
Mhm.
He makes logo designs that always draw me in, that always speak to me. So I enjoy this from that logo aspect, with it just being the head. And I think the what I'm taking to be icicle streaks, to I think that's the fun use of the space. I think that with the design of the idea that whenever we think of mammoths now, we always think I don't think of mammoths walking around. I think of mammoths being frozen in an iceberg. So that's what I get from this, and I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Smooth design, smooth colorway,
Hmm.
blue with baby blue, got a little bit of
Yeah,
silver.
yeah, bold enough lines that are going to look good, in embroidery.
Yeah, aesthetically, kind of wish he was just tilted just a little bit more, just kind of in like
Mm,
a bull rush. But that's like
gotcha. Sure.
being nitpicky. I don't love the icicle streaks, but I don't hate them. So they
Right.
look pretty cool. I understand the purpose of them.
Sure.
Um, yeah, I just feel like it's missing maybe something like either hidden or some type of letter that it forms, or just maybe
Mm.
something. But
Or do you think like maybe just a slight silhouette of a body, would have made the difference? I mean, that then you're doing too much, maybe.
yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'd have to.
But
How did Utah do theirs? Utah Mammoths, because they just did their new logo.
mm,
So yeah, so Utah kind of hid like an ice, like a mountain range here. Kind
oh,
of give it like
okay,
a
I
little
gotcha.
extra. I don't
Sure,
know if like adding
sure.
something here, maybe a state line or like a
Right,
silhouette,
gotcha.
or I don't know, something.
But but then the trick becomes, what state or what city or
Mhm.
whatever area do you associate a mammoth with, and
Yeah,
that gets kind of tough. So, but I
or
know what you mean. I get it.
maybe you put like a silhouette of a zero and then like the ice going through it for the no chill.
Mm.
I don't know. Give
I
it a
get you.
little something,
Yeah,
But
I get
it
you. Yep, I
aesthetically
totally
though looks
understand. But
great.
as is, yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, aesthetically looks great. He's more colored like an elephant than a mammoth too. So
Yeah, true. Yeah, and but maybe from a mammoth perspective, maybe you give it a little bit more hair, more longer hair, because that is what we're used to from a mammoth. But I get your good point too about the coloring.
yeah,
That
maybe some
I get
droopy
you.
ears, maybe I
Yeah,
don't know something. But we're nitpicking at this point, right?
yeah,
Um,
sure.
he's a great artist.
Yep.
Then we got the Harbinger, Mr. Carmen. What are your thoughts here?
You sure that I think that's Hairbinger.
Harbinger. Okay.
Just making that rabbit connection.
Right.
Um, I think it's I think that it's a little dark for me, like just an overall coloring in the logo. I think that there isn't enough other light to liven it up enough to, I guess come out really strong as a logo. I do like the details, I think it looks pretty cool. And I'm not sure that again, kind of like what you were talking about before. I don't know what story it's trying to tell, but I think that just, the art is executed decently, and I just think it's a little dark, and when I say dark, I'm talking shade wise, just dark,
So it's interesting because they brought this back from May.
Okay.
They went back and they found it. I guess the looking glass, or the time glass thing, basically it's like a harbinger of time. So it's like a bell thing, maybe.
Sure. Okay. Then when you add in the rabbit, it's harbinger in that sense. Okay, I get you. Okay, I get it. It's that play on words, right?
Yeah, this is like advanced nerdy stuff. I mean, we're both kind of nerdy, but this is like not our forte. But he did say it in his post, he wanted it to be darker to make it look like the rabbit is emerging from the shadows. But in terms of,
I could see that, but I think that if you're emerging from a shadow, there has to be more light in the face or something to really convey that emergence, and I don't see that there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because like certain parts are not lit then, like
right.
If he's sitting in the dark, this is not going to glow gold and whatever. But yeah, it's an interesting piece. Mr. Carmen is relatively new to the actual submitting the stuff too, so it almost seems like every week he's like showing off a different style of art too.
Okay,
sure. So I feel like he needs to kind of just lock in and kind of find the style that works for him, rather than just kind of post a bunch of different ones.
Right.
Because then you kind of welcome questions about is he being assisted by robotics and stuff like that. So
on the flip side, though, maybe the difference in styles is kind of his way of feeling out things and to see kind of response is going to be to each different styles. That if he finds a style that resonates, and gets a good response in the comments or whatever, that that might lead him to that kind of style lock-in that you're referring to.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of scrolling through his page, the kind of issue that I see is that like his drawing style is really intricate and detailed, and that won't translate well to a hat. I feel like, or like that, that style of art.
Right.
So then, like, to find his style digitally, like it just seems like he's kind of trying a bunch of different stuff. So
gotcha. Right.
So we'll see. But that's the issue too, is like if people don't recognize you, they don't connect with you, it makes it hard for people to vote for you too. So
that's true. So I see your point in that sense of trying to lock in on more of a style, because then that starts to build a following, so to speak. People are attracted to certain features of what you do in art that that keep you looking at it. So
we've been collecting long enough that we know a 40 piece, we know a Phil Hauser piece, we know an Ink Spark piece. Like we just see it and we're like, okay,
right,
cool. So hopefully he continues to submit and kind of sees a little bit more success. So we'll see. He definitely has a chance to be in the crits. So glad from there. So we got the Queen of Hearts, Levi and Wes Junker teamed up again. We got this neon kind of queen. How are you liking this?
I always like a neon design. I think it's just, it gives a cool light style to it that just that gives you it just kind of jumps off the hat a little bit more. I almost feel like the lines here are slightly too thin.
Yeah.
From a neon perspective, so maybe neon is not what they were after necessarily. But I like the style. I like this, I like the coloring. I could see this being a cool looking embroidered hat, but I still, like I said, I feel like some of that style might get lost a little bit in the embroidery because there's not enough there. It's not chunky enough to make the embroidery really stand out.
Right. I think one thing that you can do to kind of cheat a little bit With a card like this. So instead of having the card sit flat on your head here, you make one back of the card kind of, and then you offset it, and that way you just get more space. So
true.
So it's like sitting like this as opposed to just straight. Also, with the variants in the factories too, with the different factories, I feel like New Era is kind of trying to avoid using China factories right now. So you're seeing a lot of work that might be a little bit questionable for the QC. So
that's true. That's a good point too, because with like we know with the bang hats, with the crowns being flatter, more portrait style stuff like this is going to have some difficulty. It's not gonna translate quite as well because you're not going to see the full picture, unless you're directly flat in front of it. So,
yeah, I mean, even on the good days too, like embroidering a straight line. I mean, I think back to some of the Rockies hats I have that are on shaky footing.
Right, you get a little bit crooked, on there. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah,
or even perfectly straight, square side will look a little bit askew.
Yeah,
so, even playing with the axis, turning it, making a fake back of a card too, so it's like a hand, or even multiple queens because it's a queen of hearts. Maybe you have more than one queen of hearts. I don't know, but
I see your point though. I mean, especially just reorienting it a little bit will take away that aspect of letting a New Era factory mess it up, by having it straight up and down or across. So
for sure, and it'll make it a little bit more dynamic too. Even if even if you were to keep these parts straight, but then have her kind of like coming out of the card almost like like a character, it'd be kind of cool too. So I'm with you. I like the way it looks. I like the look that they go for. I generally do like neon style hats, but yeah, the lines might be too thin to really convey that what they want to do basically. So I like it though. I like it. Just small aesthetic things that they could optimize. Now we got Richard Logos designs, Lunar Heart. Kind of a newer character around the scene. I'm going to look them up as you give your first impression. Lunar Heart.
So my first impression of it is that it's too even though we're not looking at squares and blocks here, it's just too blocky, to me, in the everything is just too precise, as far as the mountains in the background there. And I worry that deer is not going to show up very well. I don't know how, excuse me. Yep, thought I was going to sneeze. Sorry about that. But I feel like the deer is a little bit small, for that. I think that it has a very good chance of being muddy, in the final product and not translate as well as you want it to signify that it's a deer. It almost needs to come more forward, more into the foreground, so that it's a bigger size and gets a little bit more proportion, so that it can really show through. Because in the drawing, obviously, it's going to look fine. But when you get to that thread situation and you're looking at small details, it could be tricky. I mean, we've seen stuff come out just fine, but when you're talking about stuff like the antlers on that deer in the small form, that stuff could get tricky in terms of how it looks. But I don't know. There's something about the mountains that are just too angular. That's the word I was looking for, not blocky, but they're just too angular for me right now. They need more variation.
Yeah. It's a cool concept because the way he lines it up, the moon, it almost looks like it's like an eye. I'm with you though.
I agree.
The stag in the front, it doesn't really add anything to it aesthetically. It being that small, so you either want to zoom in on that and really beef that up, or even just don't even include it. You don't need it per se. Because
because the shape itself clearly communicates what you're after there. Which I think is which is pretty cool. It's not bad, and I really like the colorway too. The colorway to me gives a good night vibe, out in the wilderness. There's just enough light to catch the green of the ground, and I think that's good. I really do like that.
Yeah, and I think I would opt to do like maybe 30% less stars And the thing with the composition of it, it's like he drew it within the picture as opposed to found a picture and then have it, clip out.
Like cut it down, like crop it to fit in here. I gotcha. Yeah.
So I feel like some of his stars are like too perfectly in there.
Gotcha.
Like you just same way how the mountain is so angular. You want there to be like a randomness to the stars.
Yeah,
Not like I'm just gonna place the stars inside the area. So how he changes that, I'm not sure. Well, I'm gonna lose the screen, so it's gonna come back. My secondary screen's been acting up lately, but I just think there needs to be a little bit more randomness to it.
Right.
But
like it would have been okay to not have a star in a couple of the antler points. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But cool piece nonetheless. Richard's logo design. Glad to see him here. Moving forward. Hell if I know. Hell if I know.
I hope that was what was Donovan's intent when he came up with this, was to make somebody laugh, because I mean that was a real response, and I think the way you said it was just perfect. I think that's a lot of fun. That drawing is a lot of fun.
Well, he's at the stage, I think, right now where his daughters kind of talk back to him and have discovered the word "why" and stuff. So I think that this is a lot of times he'll be a lot of the answers he'll be given, right? But good use of the mono camo. Great to be back. Similar green that we saw in the earlier too. So
and I like it too, especially the UV. I think that provides just enough contrast there to really make its presence, and that outline is great too. But I really like the logo. I think it's a lot of fun. It gives me a little Phil vibe. I think that it's fun in that sense, and just that mouth and eye look. I think it's really, it's again, it's like, hell if I know, I can see that in the face. It's just right. I really like this a lot. I would definitely buy this.
A cool +1 would be potentially adding something where, like little birds that always be on them, eating the bugs off them. Maybe even having that as like a silhouette of a sticker on the side, kind of like a military thing, or even having him.
Oh yes, okay, I could see. Okay, like as a sticker on the side, I think that would be ideal, because then it kind of takes that idea. Because when you said that, I envisioned sidekicks, with the bird sitting on top of the rhino, and having it as a sticker on the side, that would be great. Yeah, that would be a classic. Or even one.
I mean, you could even do it like humorously, where he's got like a a pack on him. He's ready to jump out. Maybe he's like barely holding on to like the flap of
or maybe but I think those are fun ideas for sure.
Yeah,
but as it is, I really like this. I think that's pretty cool
for sure. Just give it a little +1, but as is, I think it's cool.
I
like it.
Yeah, this is well done. Yeah.
All right, good job, Donnie. Moving forward, we got El Tigre, Win Studio.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on there.
Floppy mask. That mask is not staying on due to.
Right. I mean, if you're looking for that style, with the wrestler mask, it's just got to be tight. It's got to be on the head. I think that I don't think there's anything gained by having it loose like that. It doesn't. I don't think it adds or takes away from us knowing that it's a tiger. You know what I mean? I think that having it tight on there would have still conveyed tiger.
Yeah. Colors are very interesting too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know that the flowers are totally necessary, but I guess to have a little bit more, action going on in there, there's, it's something to have, but I don't know that I care for the flowers there all that much.
Yeah. There's I feel like there's a lucha that has the mask. Yeah, the Tigre Uno? No, Extreme Tiger.
Okay.
There was a Japanese one too.
Okay.
But whatever. Either way,
Right.
cool piece. But yeah, I'm with you. Like the mask there. Look, it's
Yeah.
not even strapped in. It's loose,
Right.
floppy.
Yeah.
The flowers feel randomly
Mhm.
there. The colors are kind of random too. Like we got this fuchsia with the green again, like that kind of like LeBron Miami colorway.
No,
But
no,
not
it works though.
colorway.
It works with the gray and black, you know. I mean, so he chose colors that, you know, that for the main, you know, for the crown and the brim that were neutral enough that, you know, you could get a little bit wild with the color. But again, like you said, it's interesting choices, but I don't know that it's something that, you know, grabs me enough to say, hey, this is, you know, this is really cool, you know.
Yeah.
But the mask itself is what doesn't do it for me.
I would almost rather his mask have tiger elements too. Like if it was just
Okay,
mask,
sure. Okay,
elements,
I can see that.
right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
name doesn't do anything either too. So he's just
Right.
a tiger. I mean, if you're maybe
Right.
like Blanco or something, I don't know, but like
right, yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah. I just don't think the wrestling fans are going to give you a pass on this. That's the problem.
Right, yeah.
So
yeah, I don't think so either.
So moving forward, we have Wiz Point Exco. What are your thoughts?
So I get the money vibe, you know. I definitely get the money vibe, you know, from the color. But I guess I don't understand the dice, you know, and what the is he, you know, are we conveying that he's a wizard of dice, you know, and that he's, you know, he's making money from it, or I don't know. I don't know what this is trying to tell me, you know. Like I said, it, you know, it definitely right off the bat with that Vegas gold brim, the visor, and the green colors, you know, I get the money vibe, but beyond that, I'm not sure what else I'm supposed to get from this.
Yeah, and he's so static too, right? There's no push to the posture. I feel like he's just kind of standing there, wand flopping in the wind. Yeah,
you know, and it's I think it's definitely different from what we've seen from Point Exco before. But again, I'm confused a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm just not sure what I'm supposed to be getting from that. But nothing, you know, there's no element of it that's like really like, oh, I like that, you know.
Yeah. All right, moving forward. Number 8, Murder Mystery, Soundwaves.
Oh.
I believe this is a collab with Donovan too, if I'm correct saying that. But what are your thoughts here? Could you figure out who did it based on the tracks?
Well, we're supposed to believe that they were poisoned. I see that. But I don't know. I think that on its face value, I think it's fun. You know, just from the chalk outlines and the numbers. I mean, it definitely is telling me a murder mystery, and I think it's a good. I think it's also a good play on words in the sense that, you know, a group of crows is a murder of crows. So I suspect that there was a play on that as well. You know, I think that was part of the intent was. Where it's not just a murder we're trying to figure out, but we're trying to figure it out about a murder of crows, you know. So I think that's conveyed well. I do like that idea. I don't know that it makes me think beyond that, you know, the drawings and the pills, you know. Maybe that's the aspect that shouldn't be there, you know, to make me think more about, you know, what happened to these crows and who did it and how it happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's almost like the poison gives away the whole end point, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think it'd be fun too if they had other things that they pointed out. Maybe you get like a bloody knife or you know, some wire maybe or something like different ways they could have died. It would have been cool too. But yeah, it is a cool piece. Good.
I really like the concept.
Yeah, good catch with the murder of crows too. I don't know if I love the cyber yellow button. I do like it in the signs. I don't mind it in the signs. But I don't know if I love it as a button, but it's still a cool piece. I think the chalk outlines are hilarious.
I think those are great. I mean, that it looks really good. It's funny. It's definitely got the humor in there, and like we said, it's got that connection to the group of crows. Being a murder. I think that's kind of neat.
Exactly. All right. Moving forward, we got Stick It To 'Em Kong. 14.8.
I mean, we've seen ice cream Kongs before. A couple of different versions. I think that the ice cream style of logos is fun enough. I think that it's always tricky when you're dealing with the drips, and if the drips are right, or if you need them at all, because it's a popsicle or an ice cream, we know it's going to drip. I do like the little designs on the stick. I think that's a cool touch. Just to give you an extra, piece of color to look at. And overall, I really like the colorway. I think that definitely works. There's just something about the face that's not, giving me the Kong feel, and I know that you have to write a fine line between simple and complex with the teeth and all that, but that's not what I'm looking for. But I just feel like I'm missing something in the mouth there.
Yeah. I mean, those popsicles are so ugly. I mean, we've seen them for years, like the Sonic the Hedgehog, and the different characters. So it isn't bad, but like you said, it is the second kind of Kong popsicle. I do think this one is better than the first one, so I'm not mad at that. But maybe the drips is a little bit too clean and uniform almost. It's not like them enough,
right?
But I don't mind it. It's not bad. He ends up looking more like a trooper kind of character rather than just like a main Kong, like a sub character almost. But it's a cool piece for sure.
Yeah, it's not bad. I definitely don't hate it at all.
Yeah. Number 10, we got the Grave Witch. Kind of a play on like the ice cream sandwich. What are your thoughts on this?
I think same problem as the last one, but this time it's got more drips. And I think it's too many, to be honest, and I don't know that the color is working for me, enough, because if it's supposed to be ice cream, I think that we need something a little bit more vibrant, to convey some aspect, even though in the previous one we're seeing some purple in there, that's still enough of a change, to give us a vibe that's not so dark, So I get it. That's supposed to be, because it's a grave, it should be dark. But just overall, I don't think the color's working for me, and the drips, it just, I think it's too much.
Yeah, and this, similar to the other one, it's not the same as like the ice cream astronaut, but we've seen that one brought back and used multiple ways. So it's like, is this one better than that one?
Right.
Whereas his original one, the one before, his Kong popsicle, I thought was better. This one, unfortunately, I don't think is better than the kind of original. I know they're completely different subjects, but still the same object, right? So
yes, right.
He's kind of got this, like, his style too is like almost like a Minecrafty, like pixelated old school thing. So it is charming and cool in certain things, but then like here, it's almost like he took an object that's already kind of boring and it made it a little bit more bland, if that makes any sense.
Sure. Yeah.
So it is an interesting piece. I just don't know if it has enough like raw power to get through to the next stage, essentially.
Yeah. And I feel like, I mean, even if we took all that away and just said, okay, it's good, I think one thing that would help it too is to orient the Grave Witch itself a little bit more angled, so that it gives more of the casket theme to it,
Yeah, like tilt it more.
Yeah,
I'm with you there. All right, moving forward. We got to run on.
We got to run on ice cream.
Yeah, we got the icicle. So I think this one is probably the best one out of all of them.
Yeah, Yeah, because the drips into the puddling underneath definitely is. I think it's a better use of that aspect that he's trying to convey there. I think that looks good. Plus, it gives you more of a. I think it's more connected to the subject because it gives you more of a tear, a crying sort of aspect from the eye, which makes sense.
Yeah. It's the best pun too.
Yeah, for sure. The veins really put me off, but
okay.
I just think I can get the idea that it's an eye without all the veininess,
Yeah.
But I get what he's after, and I think that this time, because he's got the wavy lines for the veins, that I probably would have left the stick bare. The stick would have been just that one color rather than having the swirls in there too.
Reminds me of a lot of the Mishka, like the Keep Watch,
sure,
eyeballs and stuff like that. But it's a cool and unique take on it, at least.
Yeah.
Even though it does seem familiar. Ed Hardy scammed the eyeball too. Von Dutch, all those companies. So
right.
It is cool stuff.
And like we were talking about on the last one, where the colorway was just too dark to get you into an ice cream mindset, this clear mint definitely does a better job of brightening it up enough to give you that ice cream theme.
Yeah, for sure. All right, good job, Neil. Number 12, North.
Boy, he's on a tear, huh?
Point X, yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I'm very. I'm the wrong person to ask about Reapers. I was over Reapers a while ago. And so it just, to me, it's just well-worn territory that if there's going to be a Reaper style that I'm going to be interested in, it's got to be really, really good. It's got to give me a different look that I've never seen before. And that's kind of hard to do with a Reaper, to be honest. I think as far as, how he executed it in the circle, I think that's fine. And I like the fact that the horse head's a little bit out of the circle there, gives you a little bit more. It's not so constrained by the circle, which I assume is kind of I don't know if that's supposed to convey the moon in the background with that extra shading back there. It's not terrible by any means. And I like the colors that he used, but it's just the subject matter just doesn't resonate a whole lot with me.
Yeah. Parts of it's confusing too. It's like he's got a hood, but then he's got a hat on. So like he's wearing a hat over the hood, and then the cloak is going everywhere. He's got no shape of a body really, and he's kind of just clutching the weapon. It doesn't even look like it's kind of awkward,
Sure.
It's just subject matter is cool. It's just like execution wise, it's like you got to do something to really pull me in now. Like you said, for people who hate Reapers, I mean, they're out automatically. So now you got to appeal to people who like Reapers. There's a lot of people that like them, but what makes this stand out? What makes someone gonna want to buy this over the ones that they already have? Does the colorway even make sense? I mean, it's like a teal Reaper.
Yeah. I mean, I like the colors, but I think it'd be better suited for something else.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. This is one of those rare times where like a teal shade is not turning me off, because I'm typically not a lover of it, but I like this particular hat, the combo of the colors on the hat, but again, it doesn't work with the content.
Yeah, it just kind of ends awkwardly too. Like he's got to. Like,
do you think should there be some more swoop from the cape out behind him?
A little bit. Like, just picture like how is he even sitting on the horse? Because if the horse is here's the horse, you're picturing a horse leg here, a horse leg here. So he's sitting on presumably the back, but he's got no pieces here. There's no. Yeah, and then the hand.
Yeah. The orientation seems odd. Yeah.
Yeah, so the hand will be holding this rope, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Right. And then where's that hand? There's a lot of like small things to it, but art wise, it looks fine. It's just like when you dig deeper, you just kind of question some of the choices. Like what's good with the bats? Like I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't. The bats don't convey anything about the Reaper. Really.
Yeah. But
it's just kind of some Halloweenish themes thrown together, in a way.
Right. Moving forward, 13, we got Flanagan back with the Utori. I believe this
I've been
is
waiting
a
for this
recolor.
one.
It's a
I've been
recolor.
waiting for this one. Yeah. It's what?
I think this was a recolor, wasn't it? Or this is the first
did it actually? I didn't remember it coming through crits already. Did it come through crits once before?
Let me check.
Because I remember seeing it on his page because it was like the finish of the series that he was doing with
okay.
with the Japanese backgrounds, and so I know he had definitely posted about it, but I didn't see it come through crits.
Yeah, this one, even Casey, commented a week ago. I don't know why we overlooked this one. It'll be in crits in 2 weeks.
Right. It's been a minute since he had put it out there. I can't recall. So were these dots that are around the outer circle? Were those there before in the original submission?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I don't remember seeing those.
So he writes, Utori is a concept of creating spaciousness, slowing down, savoring the moment. Hope and peace come to life when we take a break from the outside noise to reflect on what's truly important with those we love. And he has multiple colorways. So he has like a olive green with a dark green, kind of like a tan stone with an olive, and then other random designs that are the same design and this color. Yeah, but
I'm pulling it up now too because I want to see those other ones because I remember when I first looked at it and I really, really liked it a lot. But I can't remember if this was the particular color that really grabbed me.
Yeah, it's almost as if it's like a stain when you put like the teacup down on the
kind of like the circle of the cup. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, good piece.
I think it fits really well. And realistically, that the one that's posted is probably the one that makes the most sense. That lighter crown, because once you go darker, then it starts to muddy. The color contrast, and right. I think that having a lighter canvas like this really allows the details in the mountains to come out better, and gives you the ability to have that little bit of pink contrast there with the sun and the cherry blossoms and even the shadows on the floor. I think it's the right choice, on that colorway. And I ordered his first two in this series, without hesitation. I loved them. So I'll definitely order this to complete the set. I really like it. And I really liked what he was doing with all of those. Was that a little bit more delicate, but good subject matter, good interesting story to it, and I do like it.
All right, awesome. All right, moving forward, we got a Point Pleasant legend. So the Mothman is back. Weston.
Oh, that's okay.
What are your thoughts here?
I feel like there's too many different line styles going on.
Yeah.
That they're just kind of it doesn't feel cohesive, in the image. Right. The inner parts of the waves there, that is supposed to be waves, right?
Looks
and then the in the background, the lighter water lines, and then the lines in the wings, just all together. I don't find there to be very much harmony in the image, and so it just doesn't. It's not like it's not grabbing me from any perspective because of that. I think that even the antennas, are kind of weird because of the way that the one on the left kind of breaks the bridge line in the back. I think that looks kind of unusual. So I think that, I can see that, he was trying to come up with something cool for the Mothman, and maybe I'm just missing some of the story, but I just feel like there's too many discordant parts here that don't work together.
Yeah, I think I'm with you with the waves. You kind of got like a wave style in the back, and then the wave style in the front, and then you're kind of like, well, he's coming out of the water. Like, what's going on? Like the Mothman comes out of the water. There's a bridge.
Right.
Everything's bright, but then it infers that it's dark. It's almost like the image is inverted.
Yeah.
It's
and I feel like I feel like the presence of the bridge is trying to tell me something, but I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, we're just not familiar with the reference, but the subject matter is kind of cool. Like the cryptozoology series, seeing it expand, but just kind of like the setting is a little bit confusing to people who aren't hip with the story, I guess. But
right.
All right, moving forward, we got He Doesn't Bite by Milos. Little Shark Week action. What are your thoughts there? A little bull shark, I guess, or
I think I like the shark. I think the shark looks pretty cool on its own.
Yeah.
I get the spiked collar and the chain to give that representation of it being a pit bull, like you said, being held back, saying that it's friendly. But I don't feel like the collar and the chain really works with it doesn't feel like it's in the same style as the shark.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. The shark's kind of simplified, but the chains,
it's
the collars are super detailed.
Mm-hmm. So I just feel like it seems a little clunky, in that sense. But I like the shark. I think, and I don't like many shark designs, but I think in this instance, I think the shark's kind of cool. The nose could be a little bit longer, but maybe like the type of shark that it is or that it's supposed to be, maybe is a little blunter, in the head shape. But I think the shark itself is okay, but the collar it doesn't quite work for me.
Yeah. So he explains it as like that moment when you walk towards a dangerous looking dog and the owner tells you it's fine, he doesn't bite.
Yeah.
So
sure.
This is kind of like one of his internal thoughts, but yeah.
Gotcha.
Cool and interesting piece, Milos. Number 16, Par for the Corpse. Win Studios back. What are your thoughts here?
Par for the course. So I think golf designs can be fun for sure, but I'm always hesitant about skeleton / skull designs because sometimes I feel like that they're just being used because they appeal to a certain segment of buyers, So I don't know that, that the skull hand and the skull ball do anything for me personally. Maybe, it'll, resonate with other people, but I don't know. I don't know what that has to do with golf itself. Is it just that you're bad at golf and it's par for the course? Is that what we're trying to convey? Is that what the skull means? But, from a drawing perspective, I guess it's fine. But I just, again, I'm going to kind of lean back on what I said earlier about an earlier design of someone else's that I don't totally get it.
Yeah. It's kind of confusing too. Like he's not even like looking at us. The hand is kind of a little awkward. Like what are we dropping off the ball? Are we picking up the ball?
Picking it up. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think in that sense it's kind of confusing. And you're really narrowing your niche down to golfers. It is kind of a saying too, but it's not really like a golf saying either, though.
Well, and so I guess, okay, so you throw corpse in there and that's where you get your connection of par for the corpse, but again, I feel like you're just, exactly. I feel like it's just using a skeleton motif to appeal to a certain buyer, and I don't know that the golf hook is lending anything to the design.
Yeah, because it really is like a figure of saying, but it has really not much to do with golf, really. Because when people are using it, it's not.
When you're saying par for the course, when you're saying par for the course, you're just saying, it's typical, that's about it. So again, like I said, corpse, is the play on words, and I get what you're connecting corpse to the skull to the hand, but what for?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you there. And there's a bit of an awkwardness between like the tee and the grass and stuff, but all right, Moving forward, we got the North Carolina Reaper. Richard Logo's design is back.
I think this would look better on a black crown. Number one. I think the red is fine, for the visor, but I think a black crown would have been able to make this stand out a little bit more. But again, we're going back to a Reaper idea, and I feel, I don't know, is the shape right for a Reaper pepper? I feel like I thought the Reaper peppers were a little squattier.
So
maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Pepper shape is okay, but the texture is completely wrong. So like
gotcha.
The Carolina Reaper basically, it's all like almost like they're shriveled almost.
Gotcha. Right. So I mean, it's okay, but again, I mean, the Reaper, the mouth has a lot of small detail that, again, is it going to really look as great, in embroidery because it looks cool there. I get the idea of what he was after. I just don't know how great it's going to look, in embroidery, and if it's going to just look like a bunch of, random lines, when we get to see, if we get to see the embroidery.
Yeah.
But a black crown would have changed its hat a lot. I think it would make the logo pop more and make it more interesting.
We got to get Big Red back on the show to give us the Reaper taxonomy and stuff like that. But basically, if we were to take like the California Reaper, so it looks like this more so.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That it's a little bit squattier with a tail. That's what I was envisioning. So
it would have just been way more cooler if we just took one pepper, texturize it, and then just hide like the Reaper face in it or something.
Sure,
like, make like one of these ones, or
but haven't we actually seen a Reaper pepper design before? Or am I thinking of a different pepper?
I mean, we may have. Yeah, I mean, it's very, very likely. I know Ink Park's done a bunch of ones. I don't know if they ever really got through.
Right.
Let me see. And now it's just so many. So he did Grim Gordita, which wasn't.
Yeah, I was thinking of something else. There's one that actually looks like a pepper. I just can't remember the name right now.
So when I type in pepper in the Clink Room, I only get 4. So not a lot of.
I know we've seen one. Yeah, I know we've seen one.
Definitely, like either like a ghost pepper or a Reaper pepper or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Designs.
Yeah, because I remember there being a face associated with it. Did you find it?
Right. So yeah, he did it. You're right. It was Ink Park. So this one, Carolina Reapers.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah.
So if you're gonna attack this, maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he just
right. Yeah, it's very possible that he doesn't know that that's there.
But like you got
as the idea that you were starting to talk about is trying to hide the Reaper face in the pepper itself. Well, there you go.
It's already been done.
So yeah,
it's already been done. But all right, cool. We got Ghost Claw, Milos, and Adam. This is kind of like his continuation. He did like that Polaris kind of design, but this time more in the summertime. Off rip, I would have thought this was a Half-Eye Elf piece.
Right.
I do remember his Polaris design. So, what are your thoughts on this one?
I really kind of pushed myself away from landscape designs in a shape just because there was so many of them for a while.
Right.
And I think it was what's the one that just came in pre-order shipments? The PCH, right?
Oh yeah.
That one had made me rethink my position on
because it embroidered so good.
Because it embroidered so fantastically. Yeah, it looks so good. And you're saying that this might have that be a continuation of a theme, but a white bear makes me think of a polar bear, and in this particular area that you're showing me, that doesn't make sense to me. And maybe I'm just too simple in my thoughts, about where a polar bear should be, but that doesn't totally make sense to me.
Yeah. So he's it's definitely like a part 2. So this is part 1.
Okay. And part 1 totally makes sense. I remember that one too.
Yeah.
I get that.
So this one, man, just make the choice. Just flip this into like a brown bear, black bear, whatever.
Right.
Something
Yeah.
more likely to be in a habitat
in that environment, right?
Yeah. But
I don't think it's terrible. I don't think that the art is bad or the design itself is bad. I just don't understand the polar bear in that environment.
Yeah. Unless he's inferring that it's like an albino bear, maybe potentially, but yeah. It for all intents and purposes, it looks like a polar bear. So
right.
It is a little bit.
And when you talk about the previous one, the Polaris, it makes me think, okay, so then are you suggesting that the polar bear got in an iceberg, back at the old place and rode and just until he ended up there? I mean, is that it? So yeah. I don't know.
You're right. But for people who have the other one, potentially get a part 2. That one hasn't delivered yet. So, yeah. This one, Kong's Gambit. Heather and Donnie teamed up for this one. What are your thoughts on this?
I really like the way it looks. I think the way that they drew it looks really cool. The chess piece is clear, what it's supposed to be. I just feel like this would have been just great on just mono and gray, But no, I don't know what that camo's called. Is that digi camo?
No, it's like a what's it called? Like a monogram almost.
Oh, okay. Okay. I mean, maybe I need to see that more in a bigger piece to see it fit. But I just feel like this just, should, the let the piece be the focal point,
Yeah. Ty Mathis did a bunch of them with the aviators.
Okay.
I'm trying to find it. And I'm not sure when they posted this. This might have been back when Heather suggested to do like the alternate materials.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
I can't find it off it, but basically it's kind of like a checkerboard denim material.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely.
In which case, then if it's giving you that checkerboard vibe, then that makes sense. From a chess perspective.
Exactly.
I really like the piece a lot, though. I really like the way that came across. I think that Kong looks tough and ominous without being overly scary, or anything like that. I think that was very well executed. I love the I guess you could call it a mohawk style of hair going on the back. I think those ridges are really, really cool. But like I said, that's an excellently done chess piece, and I really, really dig that. I just want to see more of that material that's shown in the undervisor, just to understand what it really looks like and how it's gonna match up with the rest of the piece.
Right. And then the hair too. I think it's made to look like that because it's made to look like the knight, the horse.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sure. Right.
I'm trying to find the name of that stupid fabric. One sec. This is gonna bother me if we don't find it.
Because I think what's currently like throwing me off a little bit is it doesn't look like it's gonna match, color wise. But if it's okay, so if it's what you're showing me right here, yeah, I can see that working.
Yeah. So it's probably the black one she used.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so it's like it does look like a chessboard.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah, I can totally see that. So that makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah. So that
definitely makes a lot more sense.
The Kong's Gambit as opposed to the King's Gambit. So
yeah.
A good one there. And
yeah, I dig that. I think that's cool. I like that one.
All right. Last but not least, we are moving on to the Constellation. So another Kong variation, this time from Sierra and Gemini. What are your thoughts here?
Mm-hmm. I like it because I like the shape because that reminds me of their I can't remember what this one was called, but that one just came out came in the last pre-order shipment. I think that shape is great. I know it's probably centered, but the position of the head makes me feel like it's too far over to the left. But I dig it in its simplicity. Excuse me. You know, with just being the silhouette and the star patterns, it's probably a lot of stars to be a constellation. You know, I mean, like constellations aren't typically that many stars. So maybe there could be some sort of simplification of that, you know. But I think it's cool, you know. And of course, you know, give me a navy blue and green UV, you know, and that's always going to draw my eye. But I think that I think it'll look kind of cool because, you know, that grayish part is going to, you know, is going to be full embroidery, you know, with the stars and the lines on top of it. I just think if you use a few less stars in the constellation body itself, then it probably looks better.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to assume they tried that and looked at it with less stars and landed on this.
Yeah. So the one you were referring to was Represent, Seamus and Gemini.
Okay, so, it's the same silhouette, right?
Yeah, pretty damn close.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you. There's a lot of stars here. They could easily drop it down maybe 30% and just it'd be cool too. Like you're almost spelling the word clink, so you almost
sure,
just try to do it, you know,
right?
But yeah, cool piece.
Yep.
Like I mentioned earlier with the other one, I would even the extra stars. There's a lot of them. I would even get rid of a bunch of them. Like you don't.
Yeah, maybe you reduce those or even get rid of them and just have the stars that are in the constellation itself. You know.
Right.
But I like the play on words. I get what they're doing, and you know, and I think the silhouette is good.
Yeah.
And you know, it's definitely, we know it's going to translate well. You know, we've seen it.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the outside the box thinking too. This white's probably going to glow in the dark.
Right.
If they choose to make this like textured, like it's fur too, it'd be really cool how it embroiders. So I can see them really doing a really good job with this.
Yeah, for sure. I think this definitely has good possibilities for sure.
Okay, and now moving on to the challenge of the week section. I just went simple this week. Fireworks. So to kind of explain some of my art pieces here, all AI art too, by the way. We got the boom box at the top. This is on the boom part. I don't know if you've ever had a Roman candle fight. So that's just two Romans fighting with candles.
I can't say that I've ever had the fight, but I know what you're talking about.
I've definitely had Roman candle fights allegedly in the past. And then we got the Katy Perry Super Bowl shark dancing with the fireworks. I mean, fireworks is one of her big songs. And then just kind of like a sparkly dragon in the air too. So fireworks week for it being American Independence Day.
Right.
Shout out to anyone who's celebrating, and if not celebrating, then at least hopefully you're having a good time off, you know. But yeah, I just wanted to do a little fireworks week
That's good
for you guys to get your creative juices going. And in terms of the preview, so originally Jose was supposed to be on the show, but his cell network and cell service was a little bit shoddy for us to record this weekend, unfortunately. So hopefully he'll be able to join us on next week's episode. But I was able to obtain early pictures of what will be dropping tomorrow for VIP and then Tuesday for general population. So offer up here. This is the first time you're seeing it.
Yeah.
What's your initial reaction?
That 8-bit Kong is really cool. I like that a lot. I'm curious what the undervisor is.
It looks like a teal or like
I think it's
Vice
bluish. Vice blue would probably look good. But I like that. I definitely like that. I've been definitely purple is always an interesting color to me, and I think this just looks really cool. I definitely like that. And then everybody loves Ghost in the Machine, or if you want to call it by its original name, but it's I think that's going to look good. navy blue we hadn't seen. You know, I still say that we need to see one in all hunter green. I think that would look cool. But nonetheless, I think that's looking really good. And then Ephra's hat that's peeking out of the bottom over there, that zombie, right? That is Ephra's, isn't it?
So.
That zombie, I can't remember what it was, but that looks really cool too. That's definitely an interesting choice of colors. I definitely think that's pretty cool, and it almost looks like that's a peach under visor with that maybe olive.
It might be pink
visor.
Might be
Think it's pink,
kind of like a dirty martini colorway.
Okay. Yeah, I do like that. I do think that looks pretty cool. The hummingbird one, I can't remember the name of that one. That one doesn't look too bad.
Hummingbird.
Okay.
Drip.
Oh, is that what that is? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I'm curious what the connection is with the button, you know, where that color comes in anywhere else. But it's definitely different. And then what was this was originally an orange one, right? The fruit there.
The hummingbird one. So it was originally like
the one on the other side.
Yeah. That's was it Paige that did it? Let me pull it up here.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember the name.
It was like a two-parter, right? The Bombers.
Okay.
No, Kurt. Sorry, not Paige. Kurt Weissmeiler.
Okay.
He did the Beer Bombers. Oh no, wait.
Oh,
and the Beer Bombers too, but this is not his either.
That's not his. Okay. Well, I like the bottom three more than I like the top two. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I think the bottom three, like if I was making a purchase, you know, those bottom three would be in the cart.
Right.
You know, I really like that 8-bit Kong. I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen it sooner, to be honest.
Oh, so Juicers, Chris Robinson.
Oh, that's right. Okay, Juicers. Thank you.
Right, yeah, that's what it was. Sorry, Chris Robinson. Apologize. I called you Kyle, then Kurt, and you're Chris. To me, actually, that one is my favorite one.
Yeah,
I like the idea of turning the orange into a lime.
Okay,
that lime green inside,
and
then just like that really cool kind of colorway, navy and green, kind of like a mix between like a Mariners and a Hartford Whalers kind of colorway.
Right.
That one is far and away my favorite.
That's great.
The Ghost in the Machine ones we saw like a huge influx when recolors started happening, but we haven't seen one in a long time. So it's kind of cool to do that. And then the 8-bit Kong, really, really smooth. I almost wish they went darker on the crown because right now it almost blends too much. That purple from the logo almost blends a little bit too much on the on the crown. And Ephra zombie alien guy.
I think it looks good.
Yeah,
looks good from what I can see. I think that
some of them are hidden too, so we'll get a better breakdown after once they do release. But that is your early first look on what's dropping on Monday for VIP and then Tuesday for general population. Let us know in the comments which of these you're looking most forward to adding to your collection. And then the hummingbird drip is like a completely to me like almost like a left field choice. I
would have expected that one. I thought that's pretty cool, you know, to choose that logo.
But Clink has like a history of using a lot of hummingbirds. So right off rip, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 hummingbirds that have been released. I mean, porcelain is another one too. It's just about to close, but yeah, it's just such an interesting animal. You wouldn't have thought that it was used that much, but I would say the majority of hummingbird designs kind of kick ass too. So
well, they translate well, and they have good color opportunities. You know, I think that's one of the reasons they look good too. You can do a lot of variation in there. I think it looks good.
Yeah, for sure. Bionic hummingbird is so cool too. I would kind of wish that.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that one.
Yeah. There's been some good ones, man. There's been some good ones, and of course, Ruby Throats and 60s era Ruby Throats is cool too. Wynn's had a couple of hummingbirds as well, but Good show. I appreciate
Mhm.
you again. I can't thank you enough for stepping in on very, very short notice.
Very
like
welcome.
I'm on
Glad I could.
And I'm coming home, but as soon as I get home, we'll do this. So
No, I'm
forever
glad it worked
grateful.
out. That I was able to help you out. And how I roll with you. Anytime you need me, just give me a holler, and I'll certainly try and do it.
For sure. Any
Yeah,
last thoughts before
absolutely.
we part ways?
No, I think that I think it's a pretty decent week. I think there's some good choices in there for sure. I mean, even just I was thinking about Hell If I Know again, and it was still making me laugh. It was still making me chuckle.
Yeah,
So
definitely a
so
good
I
piece.
just yeah. So I think I think there's some good stuff there to choose from for the Crits vote tomorrow.
Yeah, and we're in a good
On
spot
Monday, I should
too,
say.
right? Too, because like right now it's like a bunch of hats just went out. So like now like
Hmm.
the photos are kind of trickling in, or they're kind of saying, "Oh, I think we
Yeah.
can finally see, this hat, that hat," and
Right.
yeah,
Yep.
there's a lot of heat being delivered right now, and
Yeah, for sure.
some regretful feelings too for like stuff we passed on, or like, oh man,
Hmm.
now we gotta circle this on the
Yeah.
calendar when it
Yeah.
drops
Make
in
that
dead
dead stock,
stock.
dead stock
Yeah,
drop again.
yeah,
So yeah, I get it.
but all right.
Very good.
Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you guys drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. For Aaron and Leon, we're out of here. Peace.
See y'all.
You're at the end of the world as you know it, my dude. Time is up and you out of mood, so what will you do? It's the BP mercenaries not here to...
Brought to you by VFTV.